I wrestle. It is my identity, the reason I wake up every morning, the internal drive that will stay with me forever. Wrestling, it defines me. This was a poster that hung above my bed, and every morning I opened my eyes, I would read it before getting out of it. It inspired me to work harder, to try harder, to practice harder, and try to be among the Dan Gables of wrestling throughout the blood, sweat, and tears. Now I say Dan Gable because he was a very inspiring wrestler for me in my career. He was named the top 100 wrestler, 3-time state champion, 3-time All-American, an Olympic gold medalist, a 1971 world champion. He was a role model for me and someone to aspire to be like one day, hoping the same success. Good evening. My name is Youseff Fouad, and tonight I would like to inform you on what the passion of a wrestler is like. To understand wrestling, you must understand what it is, the history behind it, the rules, the training that goes into it, and the passion, the lifestyle it becomes for wrestling. So what is wrestling? Wrestling is a competition between two opponents of the same weight class competing to pin one another to the ground for within 3 2-minute periods. Now I know you're thinking, 6 minutes, that's all for a wrestling match? That doesn't seem very long. Well, actually, it feels like a lifetime if you're not in the best shape of your life. This is why, as wrestlers, we train very hard. Train to be elite, in the elite shape. For me, we train 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, to be in the tip-top shape of our life. Whether it was cardio, whether it was muscle endurance, stamina, physical strength, mental strength, even confidence. So where does wrestling come from? Well, wrestling originated in Europe. Over time, it spread throughout the world. According to Fouad.com, wrestling can be dated back as far as 5,000 years to the ancient Sumerians. Even ancient Egyptians and Babylonians depicted forms of wrestling in moves used today. Ancient Greeks thought of wrestling as a form of military exercise and even a sport, a supreme sport in the early Olympics, the original Olympics. Medieval times, wrestling still was around. It was very popular throughout medieval times. And when the Americans, the early settlers and the Americans, and even the early settlers, when they settled in America, they brought wrestling along with them. Many of the styles went extinct, but one style lasted. It is what we call now folk style wrestling or collegiate wrestling. So now that we understand a background or have a background in what wrestling is, how does that tie into a passion and the passion of a wrestler, the drive, the ambition? Today, I'm coaching a wrestling tournament in England. Now I sit on that match, I watch my wrestlers go out there and face other opponents of the same weight, same skill, but it comes down to who has more desire to win. Who, when they're tired and can barely see and can barely think, will give more, that little bit left in the tank to beat their opponent, to win. Wrestling, it defines you. You truly find yourself on the mat when you have nothing left and you come out with a victory. Wrestling, it defines me. Thank you. Have a good day.